guys, it's Katt Dee, and I'm here with actually something super special today. So, have I mentioned on my channel before that I was actually going to start movie reviews, and today's going to be our first one. And when I say our, it's because this first one is going to be a collaboration between myself, Katt Dee, Franklyn FM McInnis, and Gigi from Gigi's Geek Zone. So it's super exciting, so bear with us. I've never actually reviewed a movie on YouTube before, so I hope it goes well. And so how we're going to do this is basically we have a list of categories or things that we're going to cover via each review. We're filming separately, and then we're going to put it all together. So we're not talking about our thoughts and whatnot together. This is literally, you're going to get my opinion versus his opinion versus her opinion on every movie that we watch. We're going to be watching a movie every Saturday. I will have my own reviews on top of this one, but it's very exciting. I hope you guys enjoy it. So yeah, I'm going to jump right into it. So the very first movie that we decided to review for you guys is none other than the all-time classic, The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Think back, if you dare, about Tim Burton's tale of a Christmas nightmare. The holiday tradition with nasty intentions has come back to life. The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to be like, man, Katt Dee, I've seen that movie a million times. I know what it's about. Well, who cares if you've seen it? Now you get to know what each of us think about that said movie. Now, if you're familiar with my channel and Gigi's channel as well, you know that her and I both really, really love this movie, but now you get our reasons why behind it. So if you're not familiar with it, I'm going to go into details, and then you're going to hear Franklyn and you're going to hear Gigi speak as well. So I hope you enjoy. So the first thing that we're going to talk about when it comes to The Nightmare Before Christmas is the plot. So you have Jack Skellington, who is your main character in this movie. And when you say he's your main character, he's like literally the character that this whole movie surrounds itself around. Like, there's lots of characters that are important within this movie, but he is the iconic character. And there's for many reasons why he is that, and I'll get into that later. But the plot summary is they just had this successful Halloween, and he is gloomy, like a gloomy Gus. Like, seriously, he looks like someone just killed his cat. And you're trying to figure out, okay, Jack, why are you so unhappy? This was like the best Halloween you've ever had. And then you find out that Jack is just really unhappy with the monotony that is his life. He celebrates Halloween, and then for 364 days, they get ready for Halloween, and then another Halloween. So you follow his character and him being upset with it, and then he finds himself in this foresty area. Without going into too much detail, it brings him to another town. Like, he's in Halloween Town, and it brings him to Christmas Town. Now, within Christmas Town, this gloomy Gus, his eyes get all bright, he gets all excited again, he feels rejuvenated, he's like, well, maybe this is what I should be doing. And he gets this idea in his head that he is going to make Christmas. He is going to take this job that is not his and make it his own. So this is what the whole plot of the movie is. Him being unhappy with what he has, so he wants to try something else. But that's literally the plot. That's what it is. It's very, very, very fun to watch. You find yourself singing to it, and it's just a wonderful movie. So that is what literally the plot summary is. Jack is not happy with Halloween, so he decides that he is going to take over Christmas.
So Nightmare Before Christmas is a movie I definitely have fond memories of. I saw it when I was younger, and it's always nice to go back and check out a movie through, your adult eyes, because you see things so differently. So yeah, as far as the strengths are concerned, I think the strengths that I view now would be very different from what I may have said in the past. I think when I was younger, I was just blown away by the animation. That was enough for me. I don't even know if I really paid that much attention to the plot. But, of course, now being an adult, I do like to analyze plots. So, yeah, in terms of the strengths of the plot, I would say the movie is fairly short, and it's understandable because it was such a complicated process to put it together. So I really like that there's no wasted time in the plot. There's no scenes that drag. There's no scenes that make you wonder, why is this here? You know, everything just moves along at a nice pace. And also, I think a strength of the plot as well is that so much of it is told through songs, through music. And it's music that really blends in well. It's like a musical that doesn't really feel like a musical because all of the lyrics matter. They're really telling the story. And it's so different from other Disney movies because the issue I have with some Disney movies is that characters are just going along, they're talking like normal, and then all of a sudden they just bust out singing. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And it just feels so disjointed. Like, I know Lion King is a classic, but Lion King lost me when Simba suddenly started singing. And not only did he just bust out singing, he started singing with a voice that clearly was different from the actor that does the dialogue. So that just really threw me off. It's like he went from, you know, this nice little soft, innocent voice to all of a sudden it's like he's performing at the Apollo or something. So that just was weird to me. It just felt so disjointed. But Nightmare Before Christmas doesn't have that issue. Everything just flows together very nicely. And it's great music, too. I mean, Danny Elfman knocked it out of the park. And he actually performed the singing voice for Jack Skellington as well. So that was a good blend there. It was actually one actor doing the voice, and then Danny Elfman was doing the singing, but you really can't tell the difference. So that was an excellent job there.
Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, this is a movie that I originally watched fairly early when it first came out. I feel like I watched it while doing something else. Didn't really pay too much attention to it. Did enjoy the way they made it, how they used the figures to make the movie. But as I became a bigger and bigger fan later on, I do appreciate it a lot more. I did take the time to actually sit and watch it. So let's get started. Let's start off with plot strength. Now, the plot was very well executed, but the one thing that I really, really enjoy about these types of movies is the music. The music is what draws the viewer in. Would you like to see something strange? Come with us and you will see. It's our town of Halloween. This is Halloween. You will find yourself with this movie tapping your foot, nodding your head along with the movie, even if you don't know the words. Now, if you know the words, of course, you'll find yourself every time singing along with the characters. It draws you in. The music is a major player in this movie.
So let's go to some of the plot strengths. Da-na-na-na. Plot strengths. So some of the plot strengths of this are really the storyline. It's actually, it's not a unused storyline. I mean, if you think about it, I'm sure there's many movies that have used this type of, I'm unhappy with this, I'm going to do this, yada, 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 yada. But the way they did this movie and with the animation and the characters made the plot that much stronger. They took Jack Skellington, they took Oogie Boogie, and if you don't know who he is because you haven't seen the movie, it's a villain within this world. They just built upon this one idea so fabulously that, you can't help, no matter what age you are, get involved in this movie. It is wonderful. The animation, the music. I mean, literally, it took 1 week to film a minute of this movie. So anybody that gives this movie crap, I mean, think about it. 1 week to film 1 minute of this movie. So it's literally the plot strength, right? The plot strength to me, in my opinion, it's my opinion, and I am no expert, because if all of you guys are super gurus on plot summary and character and development and all that, this is just for fun. My thoughts is that the plot summary is that much stronger because of the character development and the plot development and how they build upon this one idea. It's not as simple as it sounds. So watch the movie and there's layers and layers and layers of this one. It's one issue. I have a good example. So when you have something that's bothering you, let's say that someone said something snarky to you and it bothered you. And then someone else said something to you that wasn't so snarky, but it bothers you because you're already irritated that person said something snarky. It's building and building and building and building and building until finally you're just, you know what? I don't want to deal with it anymore. It's kind of how Jack was with Halloween. And it's just amazing to watch this person that you think is like the king of Halloween turn into something that he's completely not.
Next up, focusing on the weaknesses for me personally, I would say the main weakness is Jack Skellington himself. Now, I know the way that he has to be that way to serve the plot, but it does kind of annoy me at the same time that he was just so gung-ho about taking over Christmas that he just really wasn't putting much thought into what he was doing, how it was going to affect, everybody that he was interacting with, especially the children that were receiving the gifts. And it's weird. It's like he decided to take over Christmas without fully understanding it. He even has that song, "What's This?" And he never really got the answers. It's like, what's this? What's this? And he really never really got those answers. There's even that scene that's, I thought it was so intelligent to put in the scene with him doing these little experiments, trying to figure out what Christmas is all about. He never got the answers, though. But still, he went ahead with his plan to take it over, which, like I said, the character had to be that way, but it does kind of nag me at the same time. And then another weakness I would say is Hollywood is notorious for pushing love stories into movies where they don't need to be there. I think just because you have a male lead character, then you have a female lead character, it doesn't always mean that they have to get together like a couple. So they tried to push for that, and it's that movie is guilty of it. I mean, Nightmare Before Christmas is guilty of that too. They tried to kind of force in a love element where it just really didn't feel like it fit. So to me, it was just out of place.
Plot weaknesses. Now, plot weaknesses for me, I kind of got the sense it was too similar to The Grinch That Stole Christmas. Now, I know Tim Burton came up with the concept of this movie through a poem, so I know that. But if I wouldn't have known that, I would have easily have thought that they took elements from The Grinch That Stole Christmas and just basically put these characters within that storyline of the movie. But that is not the case. Where I see the similarities between the two movies is that the Grinch goes in, takes everything. He basically just takes Christmas. But with Jack in The Night Before Christmas, he takes everything and replaces it with what he believes is the concept of Christmas. That is what I believe are the weaknesses of the movie.
So next, we were going to talk about the plot weaknesses. Now, with any film, there's always plot holes. And with this film, I feel like I don't even care about them because the movie was that good. Like, the movie was so good, I didn't even care about the plot holes. And to me, the plot holes were within the secondary characters and the time that this movie went along, like the time lapses. Like, if you think about it, Jack Skellington orders Oogie Boogie's, like Boogie's boys, to kidnap Santa Claus. And they go to kidnap Santa Claus, but why did it take 3 of them to kidnap Santa Claus? And why did no one see them do it? And how was it so easy for them to kidnap Santa Claus? And why did they wait till Christmas Eve? And how did they have the time to do that if they did wait till Christmas Eve, if they captured someone else first without giving that away? Like, there's within that little story, it's like you don't see all of that happening. You just have to trust that that happened. And, if you dug that apart and you tried to watch the time lapse of the movie, some of that doesn't make sense. And to me, that's probably the biggest plot hole, but I don't even care because it's just something that happened to get to something else in the movie.
My personal favorite character, from a design standpoint, I would say the mayor, because I like the design of the mayor, how he has the multiple faces where he's cheerful on one side and then he's very worried and perplexed on the other side. But from a true character standpoint, I would have to go with Sally. Sally is definitely the hero of the movie, and she's the most thoughtful person. She really sees what's coming ahead. I mean, she's looking ahead, whereas, Jack Skellington was kind of blinded by his excitement and everything. But I think Sally's that character that really looks ahead and really, thinks about what's best for everybody. So I think she's just such a sweet character, and very well voiced and very well acted, and a nice design for her too. All the characters have really great designs, but yeah, Sally just really, she really touches me in a way that you need a character, I think, like that in a movie to really ground the movie. And with this being a stop motion family movie and also a dark comedy, it could have been very easy not to have a character that was grounded, but she really does help to ground the movie and make it feel more relatable.
Favorite character. Hands down, my favorite character has to be Sally. At first look, okay? But once you become more and more involved and more of a bigger fan, I definitely have to give it to Lock, Shock, and Barrel. Without these characters, there would be no Oogie Boogie. Because if you remember, if you watched the movie, spoiler alert, Jack specifically told Lock, Shock, and Barrel not to tell or include Oogie Boogie. But they were then later on in the movie told to take Santa, after being kidnapped, take Santa to a safe place. And where in their mind is the safest place? Oogie Boogie's hideout. So those are my favorite characters.
The next thing we want to talk about is our favorite character. And for me, of course, it is Jack Skellington. And I know you think, oh, everyone would say that, but no. I empathize with him so much. If you haven't seen this movie, or even if you have to realize Jack Skellington is the villain. He is the villain in this movie. Everyone's like, no, Oogie Boogie's the villain. No, Jack's the villain. Jack concocted this whole thing, wanted to kidnap Santa Claus, took over Christmas Town, destroyed all of this. Now, despite his best intentions, which, nothing ever good happens with best intentions, he is the villain, and he doesn't even realize it until towards the end of the movie. And you see him happy, and you want him happy, and you think, oh yeah, Jack, that's a really good idea. But no, it's really dumb. Stop, don't do it, kind of thing. Then you have Sally, on the other hand, who is your hero. She is the hero of this movie. She's Jack's conscience. She's almost like Jiminy Cricket to Jack Skellington. But he doesn't listen to her. He's like, oh, I don't even want to hear you.
Now, as far as favorite moment is concerned, I was almost tempted to say, the last musical number is sweet, but at the same time, I don't feel like it's necessarily earned because of what I said before. But so I would have to say, I like Lock, Shock, and Barrel, their musical number when they're off to kidnap Santa Claus. Just that's my favorite musical number. And I love when minor characters just come in and just steal the show. And they absolutely did that with that musical number. It's so cute. I love the character designs. I think they would make great figures. I know there are some figures of them and everything, but I'm just saying they really cute characters and just so funny to me. And I that musical number, I could play that again and again.
As for favorite moment of the movie, I have to give it to my girl Sally. The moment where she poisons, well, not really poisons, but she puts a sleeping potion in Dr. Frankenstein's soup so that she can escape. It just shows how smart she is, how unwilling she is to be controlled or kept in a cage, so to speak. So I just liked how even with Oogie Boogie, they showed how resourceful she is and how she escaped Oogie Boogie's clutches by detaching her leg and allowing him to caress her leg while she went and escaped his clutches. That to me were my favorite. It just shows that she's a very strong character, very caring character. She was the only one in the movie where she was like, something's not right here. This can't all be good. But she didn't not support Jack. Favorite moments? There's a few, but I have to pick one. So that was my favorite character moments, where it shows how resourceful she is and just how clever she is.
So what my favorite moment in the movie was, this one was super easy for me. It's Jack's lament. And if you don't know what Jack's lament is, just Google Jack's lament. So this is the part of the movie that everything falls apart for Jack. And he goes into this ballad of misery and reflection and, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I didn't see the things that I saw, and why me, blah, blah, blah. But it's amazing. This was the iconic, the pivotal, the most replayed, rewind, I want to sing this, I want to hear this point in this movie for me. And yes, I'm super passionate about this movie because I just love it so much.
So as far as my final thoughts on the movie are concerned, I would say, first of all, if you're an adult that saw this movie when you were younger, check it out again. If it's been a long time since you've seen it, check it out again, because that's just a cool experience when you see things through a different point of view, and especially if you've been through a lot of different things in your life, it can be fun to kind of see what you think of it now. A good example is one of my favorite books of all time is The Giving Tree. And when I was a kid, I thought it was just a sweet book about a tree being very giving to this boy. But then, I read it again as an adult, and I was like, wow, there's so much more going on there, and you see things so differently. So, yeah, I would say with Nightmare Before Christmas, if you haven't checked it out in a while, check it out again and really see what you think about it now. And by the way, me personally, I watched it on Hulu. It is available on Hulu right now, so if you have that service, that's one way that you can check it out if you don't actually own a copy of it. But yeah, definitely do check it out. And I would say if you're a parent, let your kids check it out too, if you feel that they can handle it, because there is some creepy imagery. But for me, like I said, I have fond memories of it from when I was younger. Just great movie overall.
My final thoughts would have to be that the grass is greener on the other side. Jack had that mentality like, oh, what's this? This is something different, something better. He wasn't happy with what he had. He had grown bored. The same thing over monotonous. Like he was just going through the motions over and over again. And then soon realized that he had made a mess of everything. And you don't always have the right to just go and take over something. So that even at an earlier age, I figured that out. But as an adult, much older, watching this movie, I actually came to appreciate that Jack's character was a brat in my eyes. He was so used to getting what he wanted that he just went and took what he wanted. And that has a lot to do with people in this day and age. They just say what they want to say, do what they want to do, and don't think about the consequences. But the majority of us, when we realize our mistakes, try to make it better, try to clean up our mistakes, try to fix what we did.
And final thoughts. One of my favorite movies, it will forever be on my library of movies. I love it so much. Yeah. So I hope you enjoy what Gigi and FM have to say. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching our very first movie review. Please let us know what you thought. Like, comment, and subscribe all of our channels. We will be doing this every Saturday. If you are a YouTuber and you want to collaborate, we'll always tell you what movie and what time. We'll try to tell you what time. If not, you can contact us, because sometimes we won't know. That we're all going to sit down and we're going to watch this movie together, and we talk to each other as the movie's going via social media, and it's really, really fun, and it's really a way to communicate and like spend time with your friends on YouTube without actually being there. And we actually already picked out our next movie, and the next movie that we'll be watching on Saturday is The Book of Life. Now, I am super excited about this. This is actually one that FM, Gigi, and myself, none of us have seen this before. The animation looks beautiful. I'm pissed that I didn't get the pops from this. Excuse my French, I'm so sorry. But yeah, so I hope that I do not like the movie, because I will be really upset that I didn't pick up the pops a long time ago when I wasn't really into pop collecting if I love this movie. But yeah, so let me know what you think. Let us all know what you think. If you have questions about some thoughts that I didn't express, like if you have a question about how I feel about something, let me know down below. Or yeah, I'm Katt Dee, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks. Bye-bye.